What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of New Jersey. This is season 13, episode 8. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So I'm not going to talk about this episode too long because honestly not much was given, in my opinion. Pretty much it was like a setup episode for what is to come. They even gave us the mid-season trailer for the next half of the season, so it's pretty much a setup episode. So the first thing we're going to discuss is everyone talking about Danielle. So pretty much everyone wakes up after being at Melissa's house and getting drunk off their you-know-whats, and at everyone's house, between all three houses, the topic of conversation is Danielle and her brother. So at Rachel's house, you got Dolores, Rachel, and Jennifer Fessler being like, there's definitely more to the story. They were just like, I don't understand why she got so mad. Then at Melissa's house, you got Jackie and Margaret and Melissa, and they're like, Melissa's like, yeah, I told her because I could tell she was really agitated. She just didn't like hearing everyone talk about her and around her and no one like approaching her about the situation. Jackie's like, there's definitely more to this conversation. And again, I say, Jackie should not be leading this conversation when we don't know why you and your sister stopped talking and haven't spoken in like 15 plus years. You have never let anybody like pry into that. And even when they asked you on one of the reunions, you were like, yeah, it was just like, a little things here and there, and it was just a buildup. So it's like, you've never told us why you don't kick it with your sister, or you and your sister act like y'all are complete strangers. So why is it that you feel the need to press Danielle about her situation? And I don't have a problem with everyone being like, oh, there's more to the story, because I think there's more to the story. I do believe it's probably like been going on for years and it just finally exploded. But I have an issue with everyone like being like, there's more. You have to tell us more, when it's like, she really doesn't. What she gave y'all should be enough, and y'all should move on to something else. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. So at Bill's place, you got Bill, Teresa, Jennifer, and what's her name? And Danielle talking about it. And Danielle's pretty much saying like, yo, I don't like everyone talking about it. She was like, yeah, me and my brother, that's like really what happened. And I just feel like I opened myself up to everybody. And like, I'm hearing y'all talking ill about me. They then get on the topic of Rachel, how they feel like Rachel is a pot stirrer and she's a shit starter. And pretty much I agree with them. Rachel do be running back and forth, telling everybody's business. And it's like, okay, girl, I guess now she's the resident bone collector. But Danielle feels some type of way because I guess she felt like there was like newbie camaraderie between Danielle and Rachel. But she feels like Rachel pushed her under the bus. So we flash back over to Melissa and Joe's house. And they get on the topic of conversation about Louis and Teresa because Margaret decided she gonna stir the pot too. So, like I said, Margaret decides to stir the pot and she brings up Donna Marco, aka Melissa's mom, and how Louis on last episode was looking for her to invite her to the party. And Margaret tells him how like Jennifer Fessler asked Teresa like, why didn't you invite her in the first place? And Teresa was like, well, if I invite her, I'm gonna have to invite everybody, and like I don't want to have to like invite Melissa's family like that because there's history there. Well, Melissa starts to like, to me, it was fake crying because I didn't see no tears, no running mascara or nothing. But Melissa starts to cry and say how she felt like it was you can say all you want that I have done things to you, but not my mom. My mom has been the kindest she has ever been to her. But then when you see last episode and you see how your sisters and your mama was on Twitter talking trash about Teresa, especially during, the earlier seasons of Real Housewives of New Jersey. I mean, your mama wasn't a saint, sis. And here's my thing. Do I think Teresa was wrong for not inviting Melissa's mom? Not really, but I do understand that it's hurtful. Like, this lady has been in your kid's life and then been in your life for a long time. You inviting like over like 200 people. You probably are never going to have to see that woman at your wedding. You could have just gave her like a throwaway, like, oh, they can come, but don't sit them near me or at my table or in the family section. Sit them at the back. They got to invite. My thing about it is that it's so much like stupid history between them, and I mean stupid, because Melissa and Joe have done things to Teresa. Teresa has done things to them, especially when she was with Joe Judice. So it's like to play this game like all y'all are absolved from doing hurtful things to each other is stupid to me, because y'all all have done hurtful things to one another. I also find it weird in the fandom where people are like, Teresa should just let it go. It happened so long ago. But yeah, y'all are still the same people will write think pieces and paragraphs and dissertations about how some girl stole your pencil in 4th grade and it was your favorite red pencil, and that's why you now hoard red pencils. Like, what? So it's like y'all can't tell people to let things go and then in one breath harp on and on about how, if you don't want to be a villain in someone's life, you got to play a different role. When it's like, if she saw her as that, she saw her as that. As Teresa didn't have a connection with Melissa's mom, she doesn't have a connection with her. It's not that deep to me, especially for them to harp on this for 8 episodes. Like, let it go. So they then start talking about this whole business deal that went wrong. So I believe Teresa and Louis. And the only reason why I believe Teresa and Louis is because there's too many news articles about Joe having fraudulent business dealings that are out there. There's too many stories. Like, I will never forget when he posted like 2 seasons ago that he was like renovating someone's house, and he posted a before and after picture, and the picture that was the after picture was of another person's home that he never even touched. And the lady even came out and was like, girl, this is my home, what are you talking about, Joe? And he immediately took it down. Then there was like all these news articles about him being banned from like certain establishments like Home Depot and all that stuff. So I believe that there's something fraudulent when it comes with Joe. And when they were explaining the story, it sounds like Joe and Melissa are in the wrong to me. If Louis put in $250,000, you wouldn't be going in, like, this is not a half. If I put in all the money, I'm with them. You're only getting a percentage. It'd be totally different if Joe put in $250,000 and they tried to come back at him and be like, oh, you only getting a percentage because they put up equal money. But it's feeling like you thought you was going to get a slick, easy ride. That's what it feels like. So Joe is talking about how they were going to do Nono's Pizzeria and how they were going to go in with Louis and Teresa. It was supposed to be 50-50. Teresa says that Louis and even Louis said, I put in $250,000. I was saying that they could get a percentage because at the end of the day, this is a representation of their father. But I wasn't going to give him half because he ain't put in half the money. Then you got Melissa and Joe talking about he going to give me a percentage. And then we find out they doing promotional pictures and like he's buying pizzeria boxes from my nephew and I bought the ovens. Like, they just stole it from us. And Melissa was saying, I felt like this was an olive branch. And I'm like, girl, I don't know. Like I said, it's stupid games at this point because I feel like both parties are nothing but hypocrites and liars. But if I'm going to decipher this story, it definitely feels like Louis did put in most of the money and was like, sis, you getting a percentage. And Joe was like, pause. And it's like, if I put in most of the money, why would you ever think that you getting half of this, even if your granddaddy or your daddy's name is on it? So everyone's going to Rachel's house because Rachel's going to have like a cute little backyard barbecue. The food looked good, the brisket and the ribs. Like, I don't understand why she had that mermaid impersonator, whatever. Either way, I was with Jennifer Fessler when she was like, what's the point of y'all always having background characters at these parties? I don't know. Because the lady looked drowsy and they kept questioning if she was drunk. A mess. So everyone starts piling in. We see Margaret and Jackie get there. And there's a conversation between Margaret, Jackie, Rachel, Dolores and Jennifer Fessler about Jennifer Aiden and her situation with Bill. Jackie brings up how she don't think Jennifer is in a good place. She reiterates what Jennifer told her about, Bill criticizing her parenting. Dolores is like, oh my goodness, like I didn't know that was happening. And Dolores' whole thing is like, I've been friends with people, even if I'm friends with you and I cared about you and we fall out, I'm still gonna have a piece of me that cares about you. And she was just like, I don't want anything bad to happen between Bill and Jennifer because I love to see them together. It annoys me how they like to talk about Jennifer being a burden to Bill. And I guess it annoys me because I feel like everybody's relationship is like subpar compared to like, if we're comparing everyone's relationship. I'm not saying Jennifer and Bill's relationship is the pinnacle of relationships because it's definitely not. They got issues. But I feel like everybody else's relationship, it ain't that great either. Like, let's call a thing. Margaret's Joe acts like her minion. Like, everything she says, he, like, bigs up and he never questions her. And it's like, sometimes Margaret needs to be checked. But, like, it's like he doesn't have a mind of his own. What's it called? You got Jackie and Evan, and I still believe them rumors that he probably might be out there because the way she freaked out, it was like, sis, has he been doing this to you before? Then you got Joe, Melissa's Joe. He a medium baby who we all know peaked in high school because he acts like a Neanderthal. Then there's Frank, and y'all know I like Frank, but Frank is a meathead that is like, girl, what? Then Louis is cringy AF. That man is cringy. He makes me uncomfortable. And then you got the new guys. Polly seems all right, but it's still something about Polly that doesn't sit with me because I'm like, you not showing up to things knowing good and well. And health concerns aside, before we even knew about them health concerns, he could have came to the skating ring party. He could have, like, the only time we've seen him show up is at Teresa's thing. And I'm like, you're with a woman who you know is a part of a reality show. A reality show that gets a decent amount of views. Like, if you was going to be with her, play the game, bro. Play the game. Then I don't know about, Danielle and Rachel's men. For the most part, they seem okay. But it's like, y'all are criticizing this lady's marriage and putting out your 2 cents. But if she were to do the same, which she has done, y'all get so angry with her. And that's the thing that annoys me about this cast is like Jennifer does one thing and sometimes she is wrong for what she does and then everyone jumps down her throat. But if someone does the reverse, it's like, oh, it's okay, it's just them, but we hate Jennifer. And that shit's to me is annoying. It's annoying. So they're talking about that. We then see the men who are there. Joe Fuda brings up about how Louis did a video with Danielle's husband and Bill, and it was cringy because the man was talking about forgiveness. Then they make a funny video, like they make their own video making fun of it, which was funny, but it's like, Louis need to stop making videos. That one video he made with the men at that retreat, everybody was looking at him like he was sus, and like, what is, like, are you in a cult? What are y'all doing? What are you asking for forgiveness for? And now you making this video, it's weird. Stop being weird. Stop it. So everybody shows up to the party. Now Teresa, Jennifer, and Danielle are there. And you see Danielle pull Margaret aside saying that, we should have had a conversation beforehand at the party the night before, but we just didn't. And my bad for that. So they have a conversation. Margaret feels some type of way finding out that Danielle was talking negatively about her. And Danielle's whole thing was like, I wasn't really talking negatively about you. I was just adding extra commentary. And I feel like the story that's been brought back to you it's been taken out of context. Like, I wasn't just there to, like, just talk about you. It was just, like, a brief, like, chat. Like, we talked about it and we moved on. And she was like, I feel like Rachel went back to you and was saying something that really isn't true. So then Margaret's like, okay. And so Danielle's like, let me go get Rachel. So Rachel gets in the conversation and Danielle's looking at Rachel and saying, like, I feel like you're trying to throw me under the bus and start stuff with me and her because, like, you were having this conversation with me and it wasn't like I went back, like I was just out here talking negatively about her. And Margaret reiterates, like, I feel like this is very high schoolish, yada, yada, yada. Like, you're talking about me behind my back. And Danielle's like, well, your friend has been saying things about you, and that's been your friend for several years. Like, of course, I'm probably going to trust them. So Margaret's like, well, do you believe everything that someone says about you? And I'm like, okay, girl, you a little, like, calm down, Margaret. Because my thing about it is, Margaret, to me, plays into this notion that, like, she has stuff on everybody. Again, your tagline is, I'm a loyal friend and a lethal enemy, which to me solidifies what people have been saying about you. Like, when you get mad and it's mad day, you throwing everything but the kitchen sink at somebody. And I feel like we've seen you do it. So I just feel like, girl, own it and move on. And for her to be like, this is very high schoolish of you, Danielle, it's like you should be saying that about your new friend, Rachel, because Rachel's been running back to everybody the moment she's had a conversation with them, being the new bone collector. And that to me is high schoolish, because it's like, because she's on y'all's team, it's not high schoolish, but because Danielle has clicked up with Teresa and Jennifer, all of a sudden the things that Danielle does is high school antics. I feel like if you're going to be mad at one of them, be mad at both of them for the way that they've been acting. And I don't think it's that deep, Margaret. Like, you upset for nothing. For nothing. They then have the conversation with Danielle where Danielle talks about how she didn't like the lady speaking about her brother. And Jackie is like, there has to be more to it. There has to be more to it. And then Danielle just gets mad and walks out. And I feel like, Danielle, this needs to be the last time you walk away. Like, you're on this show. Girl, cuss these ladies out and stay there and enjoy your food. But constantly leaving does not look good on you, because it's like, can you not stand the heat in the kitchen? And if you feel like you're right, then stand on the fact that you feel like you're right. Stop leaving when things get hot. Then the situation with Melissa versus Teresa and all that bull. So Teresa can hear everyone talking about, like, the whole seating arrangement. Teresa gets into an argument with Jackie because Jackie trying to stick up for Melissa, talking about Melissa was crying this morning. And Teresa was like, girl, shut up. Ain't nobody talking to you. Like, this is a family situation. Stay out of it. I don't care that you and Melissa are best friends. They go, and she tells Louis to go have a conversation with Melissa. Louis talk about, like, goes to get Melissa. They sit down and she was like, can I hold your hand? Louis holds, I don't know why Melissa let that man hold her hand, because I'd have been like, don't touch me. I don't like holding hands with anybody. So I'd have been like, no, I'm good. We're good. This energy right here is fine. He's just so cringy. He then, like, starts talking about, I feel bad about all of this stuff happening. Like, our wedding is in 4 weeks and I wish all this stuff wasn't happening. Teresa's whole thing is like, if my brother really wanted the mom to be invited, they should have called me. So the conversation is persisting. Teresa comes and she sits down and she's like, what's the issue, Melissa? Like, if you wanted your mom to be there, y'all should have just called me. It ain't that deep. And Melissa looking at her like, girl, what? And so then all of a sudden Joe comes to sit down, and that's when we got that creepy omission from Louis, where he's talking about he wears Nono's old his pajamas. Teresa tried to clean it up on the after show by saying that, like, they were like brand new clothes of, like, name brands that he would wear. That's still weird as hell. Like, I have things from people in my family that have passed on that I don't wear. And I know some people will wear, like, their, like, a past parent or auntie's, like, favorite dress or their jacket. But that's when people have, like, solid, deep connections with them. Not some man who really didn't even know him like that, who didn't even get a chance to to talk to the man because he already went on to glory. So I was like, this is weird. And I was with Joe when Joe was looking at him like, what? I was like, yeah, he would have got cussed out. I'd have been like, do you know how weird that is? That is weird. It's weird. Weird. But Joe tells Teresa, like, you wouldn't have done anything different because I told you about Melissa not being a bridesmaid and how that hurt me and you did nothing. Honestly, I'm sick of them. I'm sick of all four of them. I don't care anymore. I would be glad if they kicked all four of them off the show. Honestly, I feel like this show can go on without Melissa or Teresa at this point because we're going around in circles and this is like stupid chaos and I'm tired. I'm tired of it. I feel like there's been so much damage on both sides. Teresa talking about Melissa isn't a good wife because she would get her brother to do this. Melissa talking about Teresa's not a good sister because he don't got nobody. But then y'all say that Melissa's family, his real family. All of y'all be talking in circles and it is annoying a mother effing F. Like, I'm sick of them. And I'm so tired. Like, this needs to be the last season that we talk about the beef between the Gorgas and Teresa. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. We just need to let it go. Just let it go and move on and let God. Because at this point, it's not worth it anymore. It's not worth it. But yeah, y'all, this is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Also, be sure to subscribe. Deuces.